adjustment this time, 137,000 barrels per day from October. And walk us through it. How significant is this move?
Well, first of all, as you mentioned earlier, that oil prices went up while everyone was expecting prices will go down because of those decisions. And if you go back months ago, when they started unwinding the 2.2 million barrels a day of voluntary cuts, we had analysts talking about oil prices declining to the 30s. And we know it did not happen. So there was something wrong. And part of this something wrong, basically, we had this entrenched bearish sentiment. But it was a manufactured sentiment. It was a made-up sentiment. It was a fake sentiment. But it was too strong. And from the group of 8 that made the voluntary cuts, they've been trying to fight that sentiment. And then probably they realized, look, we cannot find this sentiment, so let's ride it. And if it's fake, we expose it. And that's exactly what happened to them. The other issue is the market is coming to the realization.
Right.
The market is coming to the realization.
It's so interesting. I want you to finish your thought. Talk me through how investors should be reading this into Q4, though, because as you say, the theory in the market is that these additional barrels are going to add to what could be a glut in Q4. Is this bullish or bearish for prices heading into the end of the year?
Let's put it this way, sideways, and I'll explain what we are talking about here. We have the usual seasonal changes. The talk is not about the seasonal changes and the seasonal weaknesses. The problem is we are talking about the IEA talking about the highest surplus in record in 2026 and 1.8 million barrels a day in the fourth quarter of this year. That does not make any sense at all for various reasons. So what the analysts and others missed is that what the group of 8 was doing or unwinding was the production ceiling, not the actual production. Or in other ways, they are talking, or they increased the quota, not the actual production. So if you look at the previous numbers since they started unwinding in April until now, what the international market saw out of it is almost half of it only. So about 1.2 million barrels a day, and that's it, while the unwinding was about 2.2. And if you move forward with this 1.6, the question is, which countries in the group can increase production? And there are only 4 countries that can increase production. Only 4 out of the whole group. That's Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, and Iraq. But even Kuwait and Iraq ability to increase production is limited. So only a few months and it's over. Everyone is maxed out. So we are left only with Saudi Arabia and the UAE. And the issue here is, again, this increase of production ceiling or quota is not necessarily that the Saudis and the UAE basically, or the Saudis and the Emiratis will even increase production. It does not mean that at all. It just means that they have the kind of the legal means of increasing production, but if they don't want to, no one can obligate them to do so.